I don't know if it's up for sale or anything. I just put the numbers there.
I burnt this. I burnt the NFT to this. I burnt the animation. I had a bit of, I put it up. I felt really vulnerable about it. And it just sat there for months. So I burnt it. I'm pretty candid about it, because actually the day I burned it, I just cried.
We don't have to go into it if you don't want to.
No, I don't mind.
So, all right. Hello.
Hi.
So thank you, Lindsay, for being here. I just wanted to ask you to tell us about yourself and when you started creating art.
Well, I can actually recall my grade 2 art class. I can recall at a young age, loving art. I used to have I have a really big backyard, and I used to think that there was I'd have dreams that there was an art class or a art thing in the grass. I used to think there was this place I could go, this magical thing, and I'd always walk there. I'm like, where is it? But I was only dreaming of it. So I've always dreamt about creation and having tools to make stuff. But I started to get really heavily into fine arts, and known that I was this is what I'm supposed to do when I was about 18. And what you see behind me, especially this ink work, this is what I started with. Back then, I was just always with, pens or abstract, like acrylics or oils. I started traditionally. And yeah, it kind of just morphed. So that's makes me feel a little bit old, but whatever. So that's when I was 18. I'm 42 now. So it's kind of been this progression over the years. I've, got to get a digital camera when I started to travel, and I couldn't take my art supplies with me. So I actually was at one point carrying portfolios and paints with me. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't go overseas and work and carry all these things. It was really hard. Or I lived in Korea for a while, and I would have all these supplies and be shipping them back to Canada when I'd be moving and not knowing where I was going to the next country. So I'd be shipping them to my mother, and she'd be storing them, and I'd be going on to the next country with whatever supplies I had. So that's one of the reasons I got into digital about 2005, 2006. It's a long time ago. Mm-hmm. And then I chose to I got really into it. I mean, it's kind of addicting, because you're like, wow, I can do so many different things quickly, and I can go back and change it, or I can morph it into something else, or the possibilities are endless with digital, and they are with traditional art as well. It's technique is technique. It's what you see it, but we can have different expressions. So the one thing I love about having started from a fine arts beginning and then coming into digital over the years is that I realized I'm not just a one trick pony. If that, I do lots of different things, and I even started, I became an art teacher as well, because I loved art so much, and I became a graphic designer. So it's been a long kind of time coming. I guess I'm not an OG crypto artist, but I'm an OG digital artist, if that's a thing. So
it is a thing.
It is a thing.
Yeah.
I just wish, I think when crypto came about, I was kind of I was a new mom, and there was no time. So now there's time. But yeah, that's kind of in a nutshell where it's kind of come from. So
when did you get involved with crypto and NFTs, and how's this journey been for you?
I've known about crypto. Obviously, we've all known about crypto for a while. I've known about NFTs since about October 2020, and I kind of kicked myself then for not knowing earlier, but still was quite busy with my life, my in real life life, that I didn't jump in till, like, I really wanted to get in November, December, but it just I don't know, I was just so busy. But so January came along and I'm like, you know what, this is it. I'm just gonna go. I don't know what's happening. I'm just gonna jump in, because if I don't learn, sometimes I do a lot of research, or I'm very reserved and I kind of sit back and chill and learn. But I'm like, okay, I have to dive in, because there's no easy way about this. I have to just jump in and go for it. So that was the end of January initially, and then February just jumping in. Yeah. So it feels
Very
like
cool.
a decade.
Yeah, these last, like, even people who jumped in like from January, like you saying,
Yeah.
it feels like years have passed. Like it literally feels like
Yeah.
a long time, and it's been 7 months, you know. It's like, it's wild. So much, the space moves so fast, right?
Yeah.
So are
Crazy.
you currently working on any projects right now? Like, what are you working on right now?
I have some in real life projects. I think I've mentioned to you before. I'm finishing an album cover for an artist. I can't disclose that right now, but
Very cool.
I just have some in real life projects, and plus my own. I have a few people that I'm going to collaborate with, and it's just a matter of like aligning time. But I don't have any like massive projects going on. I'd like to be involved in some projects, but I'm kind of just open. I just moved across country and moved my whole life in the past 3 weeks. It's been kind of like this massive transition and trying to keep up. So yeah.
You have a drop coming up though, right? That's like,
I do have a drop. It's going to be soon. I haven't actually set a solid date because I haven't promoted it enough yet, so I might like stall it a little bit just to promote it. But yeah, I do have a drop.
okay, well, we'll definitely get into that here today.
Yeah,
for sure.
So we're wondering what inspires you, like, to go into this space, like the NFT space. What inspires you? How do you feel about it?
For a long time, I've been like doing other things to like support my family, for example. And it's kind of for the first time I thought, this might be an opportunity to like make my art something more than just making the art. Like it's amazing all the people you meet and all of the relationships that you can create, but it's also an amazing opportunity to see a potential that I might not have to like be a teacher all the time. I could create art most of the time and be successful at it. So that's a hope. It's nice to know that like whenever I put art, it's there forever. The blockchain is so fascinating. Like it's a legacy. So it's still a lot to fathom, like to even understand how big and how important this moment in time is. So it's just nice to be a part of something that is potentially changing the world for artists and for everyone, really. It's really exciting.
Yeah, I agree. Like this is a big moment in history. Like we're creating things that could last for thousands of years. Like if you think about it, future civilizations or future generations could look back at this time as like the precursor to something that led to a new way of living, right? A new paradigm in the way that human beings interacted with the world around them, from art to just everything. Like this technology is like super fascinating. Is there any what is your favorite NFT project to date? Like, is there one that you like really like, that was fun, or you really love the art? Like, what is your favorite one that you've seen so far?
I really like Gift Ed's DVs. Do you know those?
Yeah,
and I think I like them a lot because I feel the connection, and maybe because I had known him in the space, and I know his passion, and I know it's very smally driven. So it's not like this massive, I don't know. I feel like it's very connected in a, I don't really have words for it, but I like it. I've had some issues on my OpenSea to like process it. So I'm still waiting for my like DBs to go through. So luckily they're not all sold out. But yeah, I really like that. I can't really pinpoint it why, but I don't know. I just feel.
Yeah, it's a cool project. Yeah. I don't have one, but if they're not sold out, I definitely probably need to go look at that.
Yeah, for collectibles, that one is like something I'm really interested in. And obviously I'm really interested in what Taylor WTF has done with his floppy disks. He's really smart, and I really appreciate all that he's done, because he's like an inspiration to me, and I'm to everybody in the community. So his projects are awesome. I like to support or get to know projects that are smaller, I guess you could say.
So this is one of my favorite ones, actually. Yeah, if you could tell us a bit about it. I don't know, as soon as I saw it, it was so striking to me. It's as if this person, like Frida Kahlo, is looking through like her soul or something like that. That's what I felt for it anyway. So like, yeah, so what's the inspiration behind it?
Well, when I first saw the original picture of Frida, she was just looking at herself in a mirror. And if anyone looks at my art style, I do digital collage, or like, I paint. It depends. Like this one's mostly collage. I often thought, well, what was she looking at? Like, yes, she's looking at herself, but like, what does that really mean when somebody looks at themselves? Right? It's much more like, our souls are much more than just a reflection of a human figure, but that's the thing we can't see. So, she was a powerful woman artist, but maybe at that time not well or highly revered in the moment, like most artists and most female artists. And I thought, like, she's so widely revered now that if you look at what she was looking at the magic of her own soul, and the picture of that, her original picture. If I'm to depict it and to translate it into what I see, is she was showing us the magic that she created, that who she is, if that makes sense. So, there's an eclipse. It looks like a crescent moon, but it's an actual eclipse. So it's a transformational symbolism. I put a lot of symbolism in the art that I create, but this one is just to kind of, to me, it's very apparent, but maybe not to others, but it is like to show how powerful that she was. Her soul reflected back is, something to be admired, because she was phenomenal. She was talented.
Yeah, that's really beautiful.
I love it. I love the meaning and the symbolism behind it. That's really cool.
I thought I'll put this first, and then I'll go to Albert's favorite. So it's this one.
Yeah,
I love this one also, because I love what that book means to me. Like, that story is such a beautiful, deep, like, I have literally listened to that book like maybe 5 or 6 times. And it's just, every time I just hear something different, or I attach it to some experience that I've had, or, so could you tell us about this one a little bit?
I feel like pulling out my book. I have my book right here. I have an illustrated copy of The Alchemist that my friend Fernando, who's Spanish, sent to me when I was, 21, and a great person. He sent me that book, and I'll always be forever grateful that he did, because it changed my life. I got up and I read that book, and I saw myself in Santiago, who was the character. And I think everybody is Santiago. That's the whole point of the book. This particular piece, there's a part in the book where Santiago travels with the Alchemist and this British guy deep with a caravan into the desert, and they're all camping, but there are like Bedouin that surround the camp at night to protect. And to me, this is like the watcher, the people who protect. And he's watching, the darkness is behind the lights coming. It's a sunset. There are symbolisms of astrology in here. If I spent a lot of time in the Middle East and in Morocco, and to me, it's probably the most magical place in the world. Yeah, it's desert, it's barren, but it's magical, like the expansiveness of deserts, and to see sunrise over sand dunes of it's just as breathtaking as seeing a sunset or a sunrise over the ocean. It's just different, but there's something very empty and fulfilling at the same time. But this is about protection and how there's that sense of protection, but there's also the watcher of, meditation and being open to expanding and opening yourself. So you're watching, and then there's blankness. So the goal of everything in life is to probably be here in that moment where you're still and you can see things and not worry about all these external things, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I'll get very philosophical.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
This one's good
So
too. Really
this
good.
one's sold, isn't it?
I sold that to Taylor, WTF. Yeah. He's got the sister. There's two pieces. It's funny, the same day he bought the other one on Screensaver World, there's one called Moon Nectar. That also has a hummingbird, but it's with a moon in the background, a big full moon. And this one's Earth Nectar. There's an earth in the center of the flower.
I just noticed that. I've looked at this.
Really?
I've looked at this so many times, and I didn't realize that was an earth. That is
Oh.
really dope. Oh my god. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. And then it's interesting because I look at some of my digital work and I start to incorporate my line work, my ink work that you can see in the back. Well, maybe not at the moment, but you can see I started in the beginning, it's I started to, I painted the background. This would be a piece where it's half collage and half digital painting.
Wow.
So everything kind of evolves with me. The next piece I create, I have no idea if it's going to be full-on collage that's manipulated heavy with, fine art. It's like a fine art composition, photo compositing, or am I going to be painting and, I just don't know. But this one, I did that. I mixed there's a few cut pieces and then most of it's painted. But I made that during just before Earth Day, Earth to symbolize, to celebrate the Earth.
So this is another one we've added that we really, really love.
Yeah. This is Duality. I made this last May, end of May. Actually made it when I was studying astrology. I still study astrology. It's like a never ending field of study. It's kind of insane. Just like crypto, you have to keep learning. There's too much to learn, so you got to keep going. I have art supplies, crypto information, and astrology books here. But I made this during the Gemini season. But duality, to express duality and transformation. So we have, and you hear people talking about dark and light and good and bad and shadow sides and light sides of our being, but at the same time it's all one thing, right? And when you wrap your head around these dual natures and realize that you're still just one thing, you transform. So the symbolism are the butterflies of transformation, the taking that realization that we have so many aspects to our personality, but at the same time, we are one. We transform. And it seems like a more simple explanation than I'm really giving, but to put it quite simply, that's what it means, you know. And
That's very
it's really,
cool.
yeah, it's really important that people explore those sides of their personality, because you can be angry one minute and happy the next, and you shouldn't shame yourself for ever being angry. Just like I'm okay with saying I've cried. I don't think it makes me any weaker of a person. It helps me express myself and get rid of any feelings I need to get rid of, but it also brings joy in later. So it's really important, no matter what somebody experiences, you're going to experience this two sides of everything, but you'll still be that one person. So when you're able to like recognize it, you're able to kind of be free. You set yourself free when you know that you're not trapped by one side or the other, because you are both.
Yeah, I like that.
That's so beautiful.
Wow. Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's one of the things I love about your work is like, I know it's like visually it's stunning and it's beautiful, but I know and I sense there's some meaning here. Like there's like deep meaning. And so it's just like to hear you explain this. And I think others who love your work and see your work and then hear you talk about it is like, it's like a really like, it's an experience that people will want, you know?
Thanks.
Very cool.
I mean, I really like to talk about my work and to talk. It's not, when I talk about my work, I'm not just talking about my work. I'm talking about people, and our psychology of how we are. And that I hope that, you know, that's my way of expressing it. I have dyslexia. I wish I was a better writer. I really, really do. You know, I go over my writing so many times and I find, you know, things backwards, or, you know, I have to get people to edit for me to double check. And I wish that I was a writer, because I would love to be able to write the things that I think of. So this is how I express. But I also I became a teacher. I'm a yoga teacher, and a lot of the times when I'm teaching, I teach these principles because people come to try to transform themselves. So these are the ways that I feel like I can try to help people with their lives.
But I think every person becomes something through their difficulties or their drawbacks in life. So you having maybe this created a better version of you for you to help other people.
And even at saying that, I still have my my dual nature, that our shadows that we have to deal with. Like, you know, everyone does, but to be aware of them is the most important. It's just like saying someone who has experienced any substance abuse, the first step is to recognize it. You might fall back, but if you know, denial is never going to get anybody anywhere. Just like ignorance is never going to change anything. It's just going to perpetuate all of these things in our society that don't help us. You know, we're at a point in our lives with the blockchain, even with decentralization, that if, you know, for me, bringing these other messages in, going, well, not just that, but like if we can just see more to our souls and just kind of free, and that's very spiritual, it's very, you know, philosophical, but it's important that we take, if I can push my voice in to, you know, help people see this, then that's my main goal. You know, I have an interesting story with I'm doing an oracle deck. This is one of the cards in the oracle deck. Actually, most of these cards are in the oracle deck, but I couldn't write it. I actually started the oracle deck when I was, I don't know, not when I was, in 2015 I started. And I've tried, I had documents going and they're just all over the place because I can't fully get what I want to say out. And then
what's an oracle deck? I don't know.
It's like cards, like tarot decks, but oracles are different. Tarot, they have, you know, they're always going to be the same things, but different artwork. Oracle decks can be anything. You can have oracle decks where they're just words and different daily I don't know, like today, affirmations, for example.
Okay.
So they're basically tools that, like they're divination. So you pull a card, or you do 3 cards, and you ask yourself, like, what's past, present, future? What should I be focusing on today? And the deck, the card that you pull can help you kind of affirm something, not necessarily give you, it's not a fortune telling thing, but it's a way to give you guidance. So my art, I have them, I've always wanted to do a deck, and I found someone came to me, and she came to me, and she's like, I want to make a deck with you. And I'm like, I already have a deck, I need a writer. And she's like, I'm a writer. So it just worked out really well.
Wow.
And her story and my story is very amazing, because about 2 months after we signed our contract with each other, she was diagnosed with breast cancer, and she's like, I just have to take time off. So we put it off. And I wasn't going to pressure her. I was just going to wait. We actually thought we'd put it off for 6 or 7 months, but I got a message 3 months in, and she's like, I actually started writing because you're looking at your art helped me take my mind off of what I'm going through. And then over the years, she kept writing, and she's told me, and I mean, I've cried when she's told me this, but she's told me again and again that her writing for these cards helped heal her. So to me, I know that there is a way that I can use my art to help people. And if nothing ever came of our deck, we never sold it, I've helped her in her journey. And that's probably the biggest reward I've ever experienced with my art, with anyone. So yeah.
I really believe this, that people come in your life for a certain reason. So
Yeah.
I really do believe this, that she maybe needed you to come into her life.
It's all done now. It's been two years since we started together.
Wow.
It takes time. These take time. So
that's gonna be cool when you release that.
Yeah, they'll become. I'm going to try to put them as unlockables for future collectors.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And readings with me. So
like access, right? So like
access to like
utility.
reading. Yeah, that would be
that's cool.
So this is one of Albert's favorite.
Yep. Yeah, I love this one. I don't know why. I just all of it.
I was like looking at it too, and like, did I make that?
So good. The leopard, and just tell me about this one.
Well, this started off doing research in vintage National Geographic magazines, and I found the landscape, just the ground part, and I was like, oh, this is so expansive. And it just started to go from there. I just imagined myself sitting where that girl and the cheetah were, and I can just close my eyes and remember, I know what I see right now. Like I was sitting there, and that's what I saw. It's so, I can't explain it. And when I was a little girl, I always had this stuffed animal. We call them stuffies, and it was a cheetah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And he's long gone now because I took him everywhere, but my mom did replace him. So I have there's a second one. I don't know where he is right now. He's somewhere in the other room. But to me, that's like me with my stuffy looking out at the world.
That's
and
cool.
I always felt like when I was little that I was from another galaxy, and I don't care how crazy that sounds.
No,
like I've watched
totally
every single space movie you can imagine. I'm always hoping they'll make sequels of like, every space movie where people go and like. Do you know the movie Contact with Jodie Foster?
Yes.
She's on the beach.
Like the 90s or the 80s?
Yeah.
It was the older movie.
Yeah. And she's on the beach. And funny enough, who is in that? Matthew McConaughey's in it, and he's also in like Interstellar.
That's my favorite movie.
Same.
Yeah.
Favorite.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Talk about space movies.
Oh my God. I'm such a sci-fi nerd, and I so like resonate with what you're saying. I've always felt like I was from another planet. And
Yeah.
I used to spend my childhood like looking at the stars, wanting to be there. So I'm there. I get you.
Yeah. One of my first ever things I ever asked for was a telescope. So I had a telescope, like it wasn't the greatest telescope, you know. My parents did what they could to humor me. So, I mean, they bought me space books. I, you know, torn those apart and put them on my wall. But I can clearly, when I made this, I usually listen to, there's this artist named Sudea, and he's one of my absolute favorite musicians. He does like chill psytrance, and he does trance music. I used to be a big raver. I used to love to go to like trance parties.
Wow.
Yeah, it sounds crazy. I didn't like, you know, like really crazy stuff, but I like the very fluid, like, you know, because when I do my art, a lot of the times, pretty much every art that I created something, I'll go into a trance sort of state. Like I just go there and I don't know what's going on. I just do it, and I'm listening to music. But this piece particularly, I was thinking, I was back. This is what I would be doing. Like this, what in my mind when I was little, this is what I was. This was my life, even though
That's so dope.
my
I love it.
reality might look different. This is what was going on.
But even looking at the painting, it looks as if it's the painting is like the artwork is breathing. It's like moving as if,
Yeah.
Have
I don't know, is it
animated just
for
a
me?
little bit, because it's like I'm behind there. I've never got to talk about it. Imagine you're sitting there and you're like breathing it in. This is like,
Yeah,
this is
that's what
it, because it's like it was, you know, 888 picked this up, crypto 888 picked this up the same, I showed him the same day and he picked it up, and I was really grateful because it was like he saw it too, and that was really, it meant a lot to me, because now that I'm speaking about this, I've never actually I never shilled this piece. I've never spoke about it. It was just, I showed him, and then it was gone. I made it, I showed him, and he bought it. So because of the way the nature of, you know, shilling goes, I didn't have to, but I'm glad I didn't have to, because it's really personal. Like I couldn't imagine if I had to like be hustling this piece. Do you know what I mean? Because
Yeah, no, I
that's
feel
me
you.
and my freaking stuffy.
Yeah, I know. I get what you're saying.
How can
But
I explain that to people?
even this though, like us just talking about it, like for me, it's not chilling, right? If we're just talking about it, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I can't chill. It's so hard for me to chill.
I don't even think artists should be doing that. I think artists
I
should
don't
be like
want.
talking about their work, like what we're doing here. Like,
Yeah, this is better.
you know, it's fun. It's like we get to know who you are. We get to understand, you know, the dynamic behind this piece. Like I just noticed the movement and I felt the breathe. Like you took me into the story of this piece where I appreciated it visually, but now I understand what it means to you. And it's like I want it so much more now. Where I can say, damn it.
Yeah.
So this is one that I really found really interesting. I don't know if it's up for sale or anything. I just put the numbers there.
I burnt this. I burnt the NFT to this. I burnt the animation. I had a like bit of I put it up. I felt really vulnerable about it, and it just sat there for months. So I burnt it. I'm pretty candid about it, because actually the day I burned it, I just cried.
We don't have to go into it if you don't want to.
No, I don't mind. But like it says a lot. I mean, how many people people know this feeling? I think you can see how positive and negative it is. Like, you know, we get there, the only way to get to the light is to go through that. So yeah, I burnt that piece. I love it. I absolutely adore this piece. I might remint it again. I won't remint the animation of it, but the animation piece has meteorites coming down. So you never know, but I just couldn't. It's almost like it's so vulnerable, but it was my vulnerability that I felt like it's hard when you're putting your work out there, and I don't like the word validation, but like when you expose yourself and then there's a silence around it, that it hurts. So I burnt it. Yeah, but it's I think it's a message that like it's still present on my Instagram. It's still there, and you know, it's still a powerful piece, and I think it's nice to share it. But I don't know. I don't know if I can bear to have it out there to buy again, because it's too personal, even though that's not even me. Like, but I think a lot of people feel this way, where you feel, I don't know, what do you feel when you feel? Do you feel what I'm trying to say?
I'm trying to understand, you know, I want to hear what you're meaning here, because I, you know, maybe my interpretation of it is a little off or different. I think everybody's would be a little different, right?
Yeah, I think for me, like his head is down, you know, I don't know. Yeah, let's move to the next one. I love this piece. I have a hard time talking about this one.
Totally okay. But you know what's beautiful is that you're connected to your work like that.
Yeah.
That's, to me, that's beautiful. So
thanks.
You know, I think I value that in artists. Like there's a couple of other artists that are just so connected to their art, and it's like so like there's a relationship. It's like a person. Their work is like another being, and it's, I don't know, I love that.
Can we actually go back to it for a second?
Yeah.
I think it's really important to note that, like, it has the same, there's the same symbolism here that there is in the Frida piece. You have an eclipse. What an eclipse is great transformation. And I have a lot of eclipses in a lot of my artwork. Because there's every day you're going to be changing. There's never a way back to who you used to be. You can never go back. Right. But there's times when we feel like if he's in a ball, the angel's in a ball, but there's light surrounding. So you'll always morph out of that. There is a darkness that we all go through, just like all those other pieces. There's always like the duality, that shadow piece. This is the shadow. This is that anxiety, depression that people experience. I've experienced it, but there's always a way out, and that's what it is. And that's why it was so vulnerable. And that's why I burnt it. First of all, I changed the price of it. I had it originally 1/8. I changed the price like 8 times, and I was like, I can't do this anymore because it's too vulnerable. So I burned it, but I love it. Yeah, it's hard. So now there, I've said it.
Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that with us. It's, you know, that's kind of along the lines of what I was sensing. It's like that darkness and light, that battle that people feel. So it's just, yeah, that's really cool that you create things in that fashion.
It's the only way.
So the next one that we have is can you talk a bit about this one?
Well, it's funny because this is I've been working on this one for a while, but she's part of a series. She's actually an older, like a newer version of things I have in a series. I have several of these. One of them, 2 of them are actually in I haven't minted because I put them in the Stratosphere show for Sabbath, so I'm not minting them yet. And so I made her as a progression of the series of portraits that I make. There's lots of little symbolism here. You have my moon, the emotion. The moons and the eclipses will always serve as a way of personal transformation because the moon's always changing. I was born on a crescent moon, so I use crescent moons a lot. For her, well, for this piece, you'll notice lots of mushrooms. It's about accessing your own inner worlds and being able to access what's outside of us and know that we're all part of this whole cosmos. We're one thing. It's all of my art has the same meaning in the very end, that we're all aspects of our personality are accessible. We just have to be able to realize them. So yeah, I'm excited about this. I haven't talked about it yet.
When does this one drop specifically?
I don't have
Oh,
a
you
specific
don't have a date.
date.
Okay, but it's
I was
coming.
gonna
It's coming. Okay.
I was gonna drop it soon. Like when I say soon, I just feel like I need a little bit more time. But by the end of this month, for sure, July, it's going to drop. So
Okay. It's beautiful. I love it. That brings me to a question, right? Because this is the last piece that we have for her.
Yeah, it's the
Elena.
last piece.
So what do you feel about the NFT community that is different, maybe compared to other communities that you've been a part of?
It's definitely a voice, like a place where you can have a voice. I haven't found my voice particularly in it yet because I'm not sure where I fit in exactly, but I know that there is a place for me. But I feel like it's an amazing place for people to start to expand, because we're being exposed to so many voices, so many artists, so many souls in that exact way. The voice, the artist, the soul. The projects are one thing. I think they're great. I know they're more financial based, and that's great. But when I like to talk mostly about the art, and I feel like it is such an amazing place. Like there's a few people I've met who are just kind of quiet in the space, who are insanely intellectual and so amazing. And I'm like, I could care less if they were like got a million followers or like 100. The people I've met that like I'm really connecting with, it's taking me time because finding my people is a little bit, I can't just go into rooms and start talking like this because people will be like, what the hell is she talking about? Because most of these rooms are not like, when we're in the space that we're talking about Clubhouse or something, it's not, it's so deep. Like I'm still trying to find my voice where I can talk like that openly, because I don't know how to really, I mean, I can, but I don't, I prefer to speak
I feel
deeply
you.
about
I
things.
feel what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
It's so weird because like you're saying this for other people, someone else, and I've been just sitting here and listening to you, and I've been thinking this about you. I've been thinking, oh my God, this person, she is so deep, she's so intellectual. She like her emotions are on her artwork. She's thinking about the world, she's thinking about how to help people, and this is how I've been feeling about you this whole time. So
Really?
I don't know how you can say that about other people.
Like I say, I'm reserved and I listen. I'm a listener. Part of my mission, I think, in life is to help people. I am a healer not before I'm an artist, because me being an artist is just a label. I've always been who I am. But I've always I became a yoga teacher when I was 18. Just at the same time, I've decided to be an artist. Like the art and the yoga always were together, like creation, because they're both creation. And I truly believe that I'm here to help people see things, feel things, because when I teach yoga, it's not just about like a physical activity. It's, like I love doing like yin or yoga nidra, which is like getting people in the states. And then I'll start talking about the cosmos. And like, imagine you're there and there's a moon.
Wow.
There's a cheetah sitting next to you.
I might actually do that. It's funny. It's so funny. I have like some ladies that used to do that, and they're like, oh, that was so cool. I could totally see the clouds and the stars. I'm like, good.
Here's my art.
Yeah, but for me, it's I feel like it's interesting that I don't see or feel that people perceive me yet, and I feel like sometimes I don't feel seen, and I have to accept like how I feel is how I feel. But like, I think the space is amazing. I'm trying to find my people still, so because it's really important. But there's a lot of amazing people. There are. I don't think anyone is bad. I just think we're all doing our own thing, and it's important that we find the right people to help align with. None of us deserve more than one another. We need to just align to be who we are.
I love that. Yes.
So yesterday, we came up with a new concept. I don't know how good this is going to work, but it doesn't matter. We can still try it out. So basically, we created a small virtual world of a human behind the token. But instead of like a sea, we've got like galaxy. And then we've created for you a small piece of land that you're allowed to locate it anywhere in the galaxy or change it or whatever you want to do. So we're going to do it now together. So this is the first time we're trying it. So it's like a small game, but at the end, you know, of the season, or we can create an NFT out of it and have all the creatives that we featured on the show, you know, be on this artwork.
Okay.
This was her mastermind idea. I love this idea. It's really creative.
Let's do it.
She sprung it on me. I'm like, this is so cool.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah,
I don't know what we're doing, but let's do
it. Okay, so let's try it.
I love nerdy people. You're also
I'm a super nerd.
We're all nerds in a good way.
I'm definitely.
As long as you're fashionable, a fashionable nerd. That's all.
I'm wearing a pantless
Wear what you want.
Thunder Goose shirt.
Okay,
oh
so
my goodness, it is a galaxy. It's the Milky Way.
I don't think we would have had a more suitable person than you for like the first piece of land on this.
This is the Big Bang, right? This is where it starts.
That's why, you know, that's why my pseudonym is Infinite Mantra, the same thing. It's like a never-ending prayer. So it's like the beginning never ends.
That's so dope.
Yeah. Can I actually have it in the center of the galaxy? Let's pop the artwork. I can't choose colors.
Okay.
Okay, well, it's temperate, so it's not too hot. Definitely doesn't get freezing cold because I live in Canada. Nobody needs that. Nobody. But I've also lived in Morocco, so you don't, and I've lived in the Middle East, you don't need that either. You don't need 50 negative, I don't know in Fahrenheit, but you don't need negative 50 Celsius. You don't need negative positive 50. So it's nice. You have your hot days, like you have your cooler fall days. It's spring, summer, fall, but not crazy summer heat. It's that awesome place where you could wear a bikini and a sweater in the afternoon.
Nice.
So it's a great place for weather. I have to get the environment right. There's lots of cool trees. I don't have a name for it yet. It's, you know, it's I don't know. Infinite land? I don't know.
Infinite land.
Yeah.
It's infinite land. The people are our higher selves.
Wow.
So they might not appear to have a third eye, but they do. You know, they're just our higher selves. So they're telepathic. They can like think. They're claircognizant. They can know things. They clairessence. They can feel things. Like they're all the clairs. They see. They hear things. Like, you know, they speak too because, you know, they like hearing voices. But they're magical. They're what we want to achieve to be. So they're the higher dimension of ourselves. Yeah. You know what? Can I change the position?
Yeah.
I don't want to be next to the black hole. I want to be over towards the light, next to the star.
So is that okay? Are you happy with that? Okay.
Yeah, spiral arms are safer than, you know, the center of the galaxy.
Okay. So we're in a safe place now.
We're in the safe place. Earth is in a safe place. That's why we are existing. So infinite land must be infinite and
always exists.
Yeah, always exists. So put it somewhere safe.
Okay.
Very cool. I really, again, I want to just thank you, Lindsay, for being here and like just chilling with us, hanging out with us, talking about your work, telling us about you. It's been fun. It's been a lot of
This
fun.
is fun.
I really appreciate
Yeah.
You guys are awesome.
Oh, you're